Hey guys, welcome back to the home gym. Coach Carp with Carp's Gym. Today we're going to be taking a look at a budget piece from RitFit. We have this all-in-one half rack functional trainer Smith machine. Stay tuned because we're going to check it out. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Coach Carp back here again. This is the RitFit M1 half rack functional trainer and Smith machine all in one unit, and then it has storage along the back. Now this product was sent to me for an honest review because they told me they were going to be upgrading some of the systems, like better pulleys, longer spotter arms, and a few other tweaks. But I actually received the older model, so if you guys have questions about it, maybe we'll get the newer model in as well so we can compare and contrast them. But for right now, we're only working with the M1 current model, and I believe it's sold out online, so I'm not even sure if you can get it right now. Maybe they are releasing a newer, updated version. I hope that's the case because you'll see at the end what I recommend. Gym setup and you're not sure, what days the package are going to arrive or what parts you need. So the M1C came in a box with an A and B box, but they showed up on different days. So that's one thing that could be frustrating is packages come in different days, so you're not sure which package you need or how many boxes are in the set. In this particular one, there was an A and B box for the M1-C. So if there are later versions, this is the one I have, is the M1-C. The leg developer hack squat, which is the AT-01, which I had problems finding that. I couldn't find any information on that, but that's what it's called. It's the AT-01. That showed up on a different day. And then the plates, accessories, and some of the collars and things also showed up on different days. So that's something to be aware of. There's not really a timeline. It took about a week and a half to get all the different packages in because they showed up on multiple days. So that's something to be aware of. I did also want to comment on assembly. It took me about 90 minutes to get it to this point here, which is the full functional trainer, and then another 30 minutes for the Smith machine, and about 4.5 hours total. That's with getting rid of the cardboard, going to the dump and all that, getting the whole rack assembled and unboxed and everything. What I did use, it does come with tools in the kit, but what I would definitely advise is doing something like a drill driver with a socket tip, and then a regular socket was useful, and then also just one of the wrenches that comes in there, or if you have your own type of wrenches, I would use that. Make quick work of it with these. So that's what I would recommend. Do not use the tools that come in the kit. It'll probably save you an hour or so. But when people said, hey, it's going to take about 4 hours with 2 people, it took me about 4 hours with myself, but that's utilizing these tools. So that's running to the dump, getting rid of the cardboard and all the packaging, as well as assembling it. So it would be a lot easier with 2 people, but for the most part, if you're fairly strong, you can hold the pieces up and do what you need to do. Now this thing, as far as footprint, it's pretty compact for what it offers in your home gym. The total specs of it here, it goes to about 83 inches high. It is not too tall. Like I'm 6'1.5", 6'2", and there's some things on it I can't use. So a shorter stature person, that might be something to be aware of. But it will fit probably in your basement or your garage. Like currently I have the garage door open and it fits here. But for something like pull-ups or whatever, like I'm standing flat-footed, so I'm going to have to, no matter what, I'm going to have to do, bend my legs or whatever. And you can see that was me swinging on it with my full body weight. So it's pretty sturdy front to back. If it does have any sway, it has a little side-to-side movement. But this 14-gauge steel is pretty sturdy considering all the components that are on here. Because when you have extra braces and guide rods and things holding this thing together, it's very solid, especially front to back. Like if I'm really shaking this thing, that's the attachments moving in the back, but I really can't shake it. I mean, I could lift it up really if I really just get up under there. But as far as front to back movement, like if you rack a really heavy weight, the rack's not going anywhere. So it can hold up to what they say. I think they said it has a 575-pound weight capacity in that 500 range. So if you're doing more weight than that, you probably want to look at a different rack, something that's probably 11-gauge steel or higher. But this 14-gauge steel will get the job done. So it's pretty solid front to back and side to side. It really surprised me on the stability. That's one thing that I was shocked by. I expected it to be a lot more flimsier or rinky-dink than this. But the 14-gauge steel, the way they have it set up here, is pretty solid. Like I know a lot of guys that have Titan T2 racks I've had for 10 years, and they really love them for all their powerlifting movements, which is pretty much what this is. The front of this half rack is your 2x2 steel. The holes are all 1-inch holes, but they're 4.5 inches on center. So You have, I think it's 13 options here, 12 options, 12 hole options every 4.5 inches. So it has 15 holes on the inside for your trolley that goes up and down. So on the front of the half rack, it has J-cups. I would like to see a better J-cup, but these are, looks like they tried to make a sandwich J-cup, and this is kind of what they came up with. They also make spotter arms for this, but really these are just glorified J-cups. I mean, they're not much larger than a regular J-cup. I mean, they're basically just a long J-cup. So you can do pretty much any barbell movement on the front. You're just going to have to where the trolley sits. So if you're doing bench press, something like that, you want the trolley all the way up so you can utilize the J-cups or the spotter arms. So this front post is also your functional trainer trolley. So say you're ready to hire at the bottom and you want to utilize your rack, you're going to have to pull this pop pin, take it all the way up, and tighten it down so you can utilize all these holes for your J-cups or spotter arms or any other attachments. You're good to go. The attachments, you can pull your attachment from back here. I usually just keep the handles on here, but then you can step out, do your cable crosses, all your cable cross movements, or you can put it all the way down and do it from the top. So you'll be able to do all those. And you can also use this for your lat pull downs, but you'll have to be sitting on the ground. And I'll show you a little setup I did with that. But then you can also add in this foot plate attachment, clip that in, and then loosen your pop pin and pull it down. Like I said, always have to make sure your J-cups out of the way if you're going to use it a lot of this side. Put that J-cup out of the way, go all the way down, and now you can do low rows down here. Use this foot plate to hold your feet. You can do low rows. You can do cable curls. You know, whatever you want to do. Side lateral raises. All those are now options because the pulley has two rolls. It rises on the top and the bottom. And these pulleys are pretty smooth for a budget piece. So that's not something I would be too worried about, is the smoothness of the pulley. Like, you can always make them smoother by oiling them and lubricating them, which I would recommend also. But the first couple weeks I tried it, I tried it without the lubrication just to see how it's going to work and function. And then moving on to the middle of it, about 6 inches shorter than a normal bar. And then to utilize it, all you do is clip up. You take the clips off, and then it goes up and down. And it's a very smooth Smith machine. You might be able to hear that, but it is very smooth. And then when you're finished with the exercise, you just clip it in. And I'll try to make sure I show you B-rolls and everything while we're going on my training. I'm just showing you now the actual function of it. But for me, for something like squats, even if you go, like we were talking dimensions of the rack is 83 inches tall. It's 47 outside to outside. So it's 47 inches wide. And then it's about 66 inches from front to back. But something on this, like, I'm a big frame guy. So if I was going here to try to squat this, you'll see, like, I really don't have enough room, like, to get side to side. I'm kind of in top to bottom. I really don't have enough room to really rack it. But that's something to be aware of. If you're shorter stature, I don't think you're going to have a problem. I don't usually like to use Smith machines on major movements like squats, things like that. I'll do them on the front of the rack and be freestanding. What I did utilize this for, there's a lot of hacks out there with Smith machines, but I did use this for like RDLs, shrugs, and stuff like that. And I'll show you some clips of that. I really found it beneficial for those. And it was very smooth. It actually surprised me how smooth it was. The thing you always get questioned on is, how long is the pull? And you'll see, I'll grab both of these, and you have plenty of cable travel. Like, you have about 8 or 10 foot of cable travel. I'm all the way across the other side of the room, and the trolleys are still going up. So I'll show you this way too. And that's the good thing about the front of it. It has these swivel pulleys. So you can pull it all along there. This middle brace has all these different holes on here that you can put your attachments, because one of the ones back here is a land mount attachment. And then you have an adjustable barbell landmine that you can stick a barbell in and do all your barbell movements. And then back here, there are also, you can store your spotter arms and your dip bars. And then along the top, there's all these different hooks for all these different cable attachments. A straight bar, a triangle handle, regular lat pull down bar, angled handle, another straight handle, and a rope handle to do all your major movements. So this is pretty much an all-in-one machine. It can do pretty much everything. It's not great at any one thing, but it does several things well. And I think it's a good beginner piece for guys that are out there, a family or something that wants to get started. You're not doing major heavy weights, but you want something. I think it comes in there a budget functional trainer. For the functional trainer alone, I think it's worth the price. I think it retails about $800 right now. It's been on sale. They run a lot of sales, but like I said, it was sold out. So I don't know what the new price is going to be. But the current ones I've seen, they've had it like $1,000, $1,299, marked down to $899 on some of the different ads out there. So that's something to be aware of. And then the RitFit plates, these are the flex plates on the back. These are an optional add-on, or you can get a package. So that's pretty much the M1 functional trainer. One new thing that you may have not seen out there, they did come out with, is a add-on, which is this hack squat attachment. You're going to have to take the Smith machine, put it all the way up and lock it in. And then this attachment attaches to your rack via these two holes. Those in. And then you raise this up and get your starting point. And then now you have a hack squat leg developer that you can just get under, stand it up, put it all the way down, and then you're ready to do hack squats. Now this will have some side-to-side movement even with no plates on it, but then you're ready to do hack squats. So now you really do have an all-in-one machine, because you can even do other leg accessories with this attachment. And I'd be on the lookout, because I think they will have more leg attachments and things in the future. But then when you're finished, you just click that back in so you have somewhere to sit down with it. And when it's loaded with weight, you're okay. But when it's fully loaded, it will have a lot of rock to it. So just be aware of that, but it's not going anywhere. As far as things that I dislike or would change, number one probably would be the J-cup size. Like I said earlier, the J-cups just need to be larger. I would at least recommend them being double the size, kind of like these Titan ones I had. That's one thing you can do, is if you want to upgrade your attachments on a 2x2 rack like this, is get something like this from Titan Fitness. These spotter arms, quite a bit longer, probably double, if not 2/3 of the size. And Titan makes those also for their Titan T3 racks. So that's something you could do as far as an upgrade. I would like to see is 4-way hole spacing on each side, because right now on some of the attachments, there is a pop pin that goes to nowhere, because like on the leg developer or hack squat, there's nothing for it to attach to. You have to put it on the side based off the orientation of the pins, and there's nowhere for it to attach to. So that pop pin is just sitting there in no man's land. Take these holes and put an extra hole in between each one and double the amount of adjustability. Because right now, even with their small J-cups, if you put one here, you've still got that much gap in between each adjustment. When you're using a barbell on the front and you have the Smith machine on here, you have to be aware of what size plates you're putting on here, because if you do a regular 45-pound plate or a normal size plate, if you're using bumpers, the 17.5 to 17.75, those plates are going to run into each other. So you won't be able to use a Smith machine or have a barbell stored here at the same time. They should update these to aluminum pulleys. I think there are 9 pulleys per side, so you're looking at 18 pulleys total. So at the large quantity that they do, it wouldn't be that hard to swap out all the aluminum pulleys to give you a better feel on the pulleys. The trolley system, you've seen some things like Force USA, and maybe other brands, and Titan and Bells of Steel out there. They have 2x2 racks or similar, and they have like a stainless steel peg. So when the trolley's out here, it does have rollers, but on a stainless steel upright, it's going to slide a lot better. So that's another small upgrade that they could do. These are just hitch pins for other companies like Fringe, but they're longer than the band pegs that come with this. So just like the J cups, the spotter arms, the band pegs, to use them properly, do need to be quite a bit longer. Probably another 2 to 3 inches to make them really usable. On the functional trainer, the weight posts are slightly increased, about 3 degrees or so, but the storage pins on the back of the system are straight across. So if you get this rack rocking or you bump into it or anything, those plates could come off and fall off the back of the rack. If you're sitting here doing it and you're like, oh no, oh! But as is, that many plates on there, keeping these, it does keep the rack very sturdy, so that is a positive. And then the knurling on the bar, it's very, very light knurling, and it's that decorative chrome, so it's not a great barbell. I like to see some type of thing where you can attach a barbell in here. So overall, it's not a bad rack. It's definitely a good rack for beginners and people wanting to start their home gym and get a lot of functionality out of one piece. But if you're lifting heavy weights, you know, you're benching 300, 400, 500 pounds, or you're squatting, you know, you're squatting 300, 400, 500 pounds, this is probably not the rack for you. What it could come in as be a nice accessory rack. So if you want a cheap functional trainer, something like this may be available. Me, I wouldn't mind having this as an auxiliary rack where I do all my main movements on my main power rack. That's 11 gauge steel. And then you come over here for accessories and do all things like your cable crosses, some of your, you know, sideways movements where you don't have a full stack of weights that you can do. So that's what I would recommend. It makes it nice. They do have packages you can buy with weights and so forth. But I think your standard rack is about $8.99 is what they're doing if they have them in stock. And then the total package to get all this with the weights, all the additional handles, the leg developer, you're looking at about $2,500, $2,600 retail. So there are discount codes and stuff available. So check the description below if you're interested in purchasing this. Discounts there, so check those links first. And then you can also check Amazon. I'll post all the links down there. And you just shop around and see which one is the best dip. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments. Do you have any questions? I'll try to answer them for you. Thanks for watching, guys, and go lift, baby.